its time, it might have been a scene of jubilation, a celebration perhaps of a gold medal performance, reminiscent of what we saw in the dressing room, in the hallway, outside the ice stadium in Helsinki in 1985, or the one that took place in Rochester in 1982. But Sherry, let's get back to that preparation question, the one of discipline on and off the ice, the instructions that go from a coach to the players. You were involved with Terry Simpson, now with the New York Islanders, Dave King with the Olympic program.
Listen, whether it be a 7-game tournament in world competition, whether it be the playoffs in the NHL, when you're preparing, there's as much preparation on the ice strategically and all the tactics that you're going to, there's just as much preparation emotionally off the ice. You can get too high or you can get too low. There are a number of factors that you've got to discuss. The same kind of discipline to perform properly strategically as there is emotionally. The real issue here that's hard to accept, it's tough enough to lose the game on the ice. That's tough. When you lose the game because they put more pucks in your net than we put in theirs, hey, you got to accept the fact. It's very, very tough to handle when you prepare for a 7-game series. You're covering in the NHL, the losing team in overtime. You look up at the scoreboard, you got beat 2-1. Hey, tough to handle. But when you lose it in the boardroom, when it's meant to be won on the ice or lost on the ice, that's when it's tough to handle.
We'll return to Piestany and this unfortunate incident at the World Junior Hockey Championships after we pause for this message. Well, the Canadian team may be out of the medals, but the reaction of those young men from Finland points out just how happy they are to see this game end, and the fact that they are now the gold medalists, the first time ever that they have won a gold medal in the World Junior Hockey Championships. And the fellow right at the front plays for your hockey team back in Oshawa.
Yeah, it's ironical. Petri Matikainen leading the crowd there, so somebody's coming back to Oshawa, Ontario with a gold medal. And listen, no matter how you win it, the fact is that that team particularly right there, Finland, and don't take anything away from the fact that they got the gold medal. Canada had a job to do. They had to get 5 goals and so forth. They are well deserving of that medal, and we shouldn't, what happened here and this incident should not take it away from them. And the fact remains is they're going home with that gold medal in their pocket, and I know how Petri feels, and there isn't if there's a better feeling, I haven't run into it in a long time.
Well, I've covered international sport for a number of years, more years than I care to really point out. However, I can't recall an international incident that has ever destroyed Canada's image like this one.
And I think that in retrospect, I think that's what they're thinking about
in
right
any
now.
sport, that is.
I mean, when I take a look at this arena and what everybody was kind of, have you got an answer? Everybody was looking at everybody else. I mean, a number of people haven't left here yet. There's been no closing ceremony or anything on the ice.
If there is a closing ceremonies, unfortunately for the teams that are involved, there won't be anybody here to witness it.
No, it'll be alone. You know what I mean? It'll be kind of, they can hold it in a phone booth. You know what I mean? But that's the unfortunate thing about the whole incident, and that's what everybody's going to remember. When everybody's going to talk about this incident, they're going to say, well, Finland, who won the gold medal? They're going to say, I know that Russia and Canada were thrown out. That's what the talk's going to be.
All right, let's go downstairs once again, and here's Fred Walker.
The door to the Canadian dressing room is closed here. Behind the door, a lot of very disappointed young 17 to 19-year-old Canadian youngsters who came here seeking a gold medal, but wind up with empty hands. Team coaches Bert Templeton and Pat Burns obviously disappointed, but none more so than those behind this door. It's an unfortunate way to end a tournament, but it happens that way in international hockey from time to time. That's it from the Canadian dressing room. Now let's go back upstairs to Don Whitman and Sherry Bassin.
So the game called at 13:57 of the second period. That wild brawl, 13:53 I guess it was, that wild brawl, and the Canadian team and the Soviet team disqualified, and as a result, Czechoslovakia finishes in the silver medal position, second place. Finland captures the gold, and Sweden takes the bronze. I think one word pretty much sums it up: disgraceful.
Oh, disgraceful, disappointment. There was such great anticipation when we came to the rink. We listened to that earlier score. Canada had a shot at the gold, and being through it. You and I have talked about it all week, and you and I were fired up. We had all kinds of notes and lots of preparation, and say we got to get the true story back. And then, hey, for this thing to be decided in a boardroom because of this incident on the ice, disgraceful, disappointment. Everybody's upset, and it too bad does not describe how everybody feels.
And this is an incident that is going to be talked about for a long, long time. Right now, let's go a long way across the Atlantic, and we have this message coming to you from our studios in Toronto.
Hi, Brian Williams. Welcome back to Sports Weekend Control in Toronto. We've discussed this at length. There's not much more to say, Don Cherry. You've just had a telephone call.
Well, this has happened before in international hockey, for sure, and they've never called a game. We got it in the air. Who's this everybody going to think bad about it? Sherry Bass's talking. Who's everybody? Right. We know we had to do. I feel bad about it, but we had to do it. We don't take slaps in the face.
All right, Don, that is your final word. My final word is that regardless of what a disappointment it is to the players, these teams both should have been thrown out of this tournament. It is a disgrace. World Cup skiing coming up. Right now, Terry Leibel, it is back to you.
1987 World Junior Hockey Championship. Brought to you by Esso. Stop in and fill up with the No Trouble gasoline.